We see a man lying on the grass, a few dollar bills scattered around him. Above him, a helicopter hovers, adding suspense as we wonder what just happened or what's about to happen. We're then transported to a small town somewhere in Texas where kids roam the streets joyfully, trick-or-treating. Meanwhile, inside the Perry house, Joy's been exorcised like it owed rent. Religion be doing the most sometimes. Unlike the festive mood outside, we see a quiet family sitting at their kitchen table discussing Halloween. The mother, Gladys Perry, explains that their religious beliefs place them on a higher spiritual level, where celebrating such holidays is considered forbidden. Just then, the doorbell rings and children outside shout, "Trick or treat!"
Trick or treat!
Sorry, we don't take no part in Halloween.
Gladys answers the door and politely tells them they do not celebrate the holiday because they are Jehovah's Witnesses. Here comes the first red flag. As if the kid's life wasn't already hard enough, now the parents took candy off the table too. Childhood without holidays feels like having your very own personal Grinch at home. Meanwhile, we're introduced to a man named Larry Billings, a prison guard. He returns to the prison to pick up some paperwork he plans to take home. At the same time, two inmates, Butch and Terry, are seen consulting an older prisoner about where the air vents in the building lead. Once they break through the vents, it becomes clear that an escape is underway. This part made me laugh. Prison escape via air vents always gives die-hard energy. I had to stop myself from adding a yippee-ki-yay line. Then, Butch tells Terry that once they reach the state line, they'll split up because he doesn't like him.
As soon as we're on our way, that's it.
Terry agrees as their mutual hatred has reached a boiling point. They manage to pass through the prison gates using Larry's car, with Larry himself at the wheel. After reaching town, they hijack his vehicle and begin searching for a new car to escape in. During this time, Terry is distracted by the smell of breakfast coming from Gladys's house. He suddenly bursts into the kitchen with a gun, terrifying Gladys. He grabs her by the neck and tries to force a kiss on her. She resists fiercely, fighting for her life. But Terry starts to assault and disgustingly kiss her. Young Philip, her son, walks in and irritates Terry, prompting him to slap the boy hard, knocking him aside. Butch, enraged by this, strikes Terry with a punch so powerful that it makes Terry's ears bleed instantly. This only makes Terry angrier. Butch, staying calm, asks Philip to pick up the pistola and hand it to him. Then, in a mix of seriousness and play, he tells the boy to aim the gun at him and say, "Stick him up." Shortly, Philip does as he's told, unaware of how deadly serious the situation really is. Suddenly, a neighbor storms into the house with a rifle, attempting to rescue the family.
Put the gun down, old-timer.
Butch calmly asks the man to lower the weapon, warning that a stray bullet could hit the boy and ruin the mother's life. The neighbor complies, setting a pattern of negotiation and violence avoidance that repeats throughout the film. Butch and Terry then take Philip as a hostage and flee in the guard's vehicle.
No! No! No!
Philip's mother, shocked and devastated, stands helplessly by the roadside, wondering how she can ever get her son back. Next, we see the state office of the Texas Rangers. Red Barnett is on the phone with the governor, a criminologist named Sally Gerber, sent from Huntsville by the governor to help with parole and escape cases. Introduces herself to Red. He's not thrilled by her presence. The governor also provides Red's team with a flashy new truck and trailer to assist in the manhunt. The rig looks more like a mobile campaign headquarters, decorated with bunting and equipped with high-tech gadgets. Imagine if James Bond had a Pinterest face. That's what this setup felt like. Espionage meets Etsy.
But Red, you gotta believe me, it's just... Red. What's your name?
As they load up the trailer to begin the search, FBI agent Bobby Lee joins the team. Sally is almost left behind, but the team quickly retrieves her and she joins them in the van. Meanwhile, the escapees and their young hostage are trying to find a hiding spot. Terry suggests contacting his cousin. Butch agrees and tells him to go ahead. But to make sure Butch and Philip don't run off, Terry takes the car keys with him. Terry flips through a phone book, but can't find his cousin's name. What great planning. Looking for help in a phone book mid-escape is like trying to fight the Terminator with a water pistol. Butch keeps an eye on him with a suspicious and threatening look. Trying to get rid of Terry failed. They hit the road again, but Terry's constant negative chatter becomes unbearable. He won't stop complaining or talking badly about everything. Frustrated, Butch tells Philip to take the wheel while he takes care of Terry.
Here, kid, take the wheel.
Without warning, Butch breaks Terry's nose. Soon after, they stop at a small store for supplies. Butch hands the gun to Philip and tells him to point it at Terry to keep him in line while he shops. Inside the store, Terry tries to manipulate Philip into lowering the weapon.
You ever shot a gun before, boy?
Quiet, mister.
You probably grow up quicker, you know that.
Terry even begins intimidating the boy both verbally and physically, mocking him by saying, "Kinda puny, ain't it?" Soon enough, when Terry grabs him, Philip bites his hand and runs across the road, hiding in a cornfield while still holding the gun. Terry searches for him, unaware that Butch has noticed their absence. Butch finds Philip first, and the boy gives the gun back to him. Butch tells him to wait in the car until he returns. Moments later, Butch catches Terry off guard and, without hesitation, shoots him in the face. As they return to the car, the store owner comes out with a rifle. Butch, calm and in control, tells the man to lie down on the store floor until they leave. The man obeys, and Butch and Philip drive off, wasting no time. Meanwhile, Red and his team receive news of the fugitives' whereabouts. Sally advises setting up an auxiliary roadblock, as the prisoners are likely to split up. However, only one roadblock is set. Red and Sally argue about her role on the team. Red tells her that strength and a sense of humor are all that's needed to work with him. Sally, annoyed, explains that she is not incompetent. She just wants to do her job properly. Red insists he's in charge, but promises to consider her opinions.
You see me making a wrong move, you go ahead and speak up.
Meanwhile, Butch and Philip continue bonding, sharing RC Cola and talking. Butch tries to make things fun for Philip by telling him the car is a time machine and they're traveling into the future. In fact, the subtle lesson here is that we either live in the future or in the present, like choosing to ease off or press down on the gas pedal as we move toward our goal. He explains how the gas and brake pedals work, calling the car a time machine. He then says they need to find a Ford to steal so they can switch cars.
We gotta find us a Ford. My daddy always drove Fords, you know that?
Elsewhere, Terry's dead body is discovered. Red's team continues the pursuit, now focusing on the remaining kidnapper. Back on the road, Butch and Philip come across a Ford parked near a secluded house. Butch tells Philip to pretend he's playing Cowboys and Indians and sneak over to see if the keys are inside and whether the car has a radio. Philip quietly checks and finds both.
It's got keys and a radio, I checked.
Feeling the urge to pee, Philip asks Butch, who tells him to go behind a tree. By the way, kidnapping tip from a pro, always let your hostage pee. It builds trust and cuts down on complaints. While the boy relieves himself, Butch walks over to a nearby clothesline to steal some regular clothes for both of them. He finds a pair of pants that fits Philip as well. Suddenly, the farmer who owns the house spots Butch helping himself. The farmer grows suspicious and takes a closer look. He jumps off his tractor and runs toward them. Butch jumps into the Ford and struggles to start it. The farmer nearly catches them, but Philip bites his hand, allowing Butch to break free. Elsewhere, the manhunt team debates whether locals should shoot the fugitive if they have a clear shot. Red and Sally both say no because of the boy's safety. Soon, Butch learns that Philip's dad is gone. They realize they have some things in common. They are handsome, they like RC Cokes, and their dads ain't worth a damn. They are on their own and seek foolish destiny.
Me and you got a lot in common, Philip.
Soon enough, Red gets to the scene of the car recovery. They pry open the trunk and find the dead guard Larry Billings inside. Sally barfs, and Red shows a smidgen of compassion. Back at the duo, Butch gives Philip an alias, Buzz, so they can go to a store called Friendly's to buy skivvies, breeches, rope, and duct tape. And after a little looking around, Buzz eyes a Casper costume left over from Halloween. Not a bad reference. I should watch this movie again, shake off the old days, so to speak. But in general, in a world already full of real monsters, this kid still picks a ghost costume. That's bravery or complete denial. Either way, it gives me chills. He puts the mask on and shows it to the saleswoman. He tells her it's a bandit costume. While they are inside, a local cop finds the car parked by the store and waits to nab the escapees. Inside, the clerk flirts with Butch and gets a nice tip. Butch refuses to buy the Casper costume. Mr. Willits, the store manager, starts to call and report the presence of Butch. But Butch threatens him with a look. Trouble's aplenty outside. But Butch outmaneuvers them and stops by to pick Buzz up on the way out of town.
What the hell?
However, the saleswoman has seen him shoplifting the costume, so she urges him to return it or the cops will arrest him. The boy hesitates between wanting it so badly and obeying his moral intuition. Regardless, he runs towards Butch and enters the vehicle. Butch tells the saleswoman, even though the store is called Friendly, they ain't so friendly. He then shoots at the window and breaks it as a form of rebelliousness. The duo, now officially a crime team, drive off, and the cops there aren't able to stop them, other than seeing the escape. After a few miles of driving, Buzz and Butch hide behind a barn while the coast clears. Butch forgives Buzz by saying that although stealing is wrong, the Casper costume theft is an exception to the rule. Because apparently, if you want something for yourself and there is no fair way for you to get it, it's acceptable to take a loaner on your item. Butch then asks the boy to put it on, but Buzz is embarrassed by his puny pecker, in the words of Terry.
You embarrassed because I might see your pecker?
Butch looks at it and declares it good-sized for a boy his age. Buzz is heartened by Butch's assessment and shortly puts on his Casper the Friendly Ghost costume. Elsewhere, Red and Sally believe that Haynes, aka Butch, and the boy are headed for the Panhandle. Sally outlines Butch's sad life before incarceration. Mom killed herself and Daddy split. After Haynes killed a man who hurt his mom when he was just 8, he stayed clear of the law until he stole a car some years later. Haynes received an inappropriately long sentence. Sally declares that where they are going is not important, but why they are going there is very important. Meanwhile, Butch trains his navigator Buzz, aka Philip, in the ways of map reading. After a short drive, they pass a trailer and Butch proposes to wave just for fun. However, it turns out it is the team of trained criminologists.
Like this, maybe they'll honk back at it.
What do you think? Well, okay, do it.
Sally quickly spots the boy and confirms the kind of costume the duo stole from the store. Just then, she realizes they just passed them, and she alerts Red and the rest of the team.
That was them. They just passed us.
Soon, the trailer does a U-turn when they spot the Casper costume. A chase ensues between the two. After much tailing that doesn't even flinch Butch, the guy in the passenger seat tells the driver to slow the trailer down because it can't go higher than a specific rev. However, the driver gets enraged by Butch's guts, so he hits the gas even harder. Soon, the trailer and truck get separated in the process, and the driver only notices it when it's already too late. The governor's trailer then heads straight to the woods. Now, with nobody stopping it, it crashes into a tree, much the worse for wear. Wow, just imagine. Tough FBI agents with high-tech equipment, and they end up crashing their trailer like a scene from a cheap comedy. James Bond would probably roll his eyes right now. All are safe, but Red gets angry at the driver since now they both lost the criminal along with their trailer. Elsewhere in the meantime, the governor tells Buzz's mom that the boy is okay as he smiles for the cameras. Clearly, he doesn't care, and all he does is for show.
You'll be home with your boy. I promise.
Back with the fugitives, Butch lets Buzz decide what to do, whether to hoof it and walk on foot or stick with this car. Butch informs Buzz that he is headed for Alaska. Buzz considers the options and decides that 1,500 miles is too far to walk. Supply inventory is low, just soda, gum, and half a moon pie. They decide to walk and look for something they could grab if they find any place. Meanwhile, Red is informed the governor wants the trailer back, but he doesn't tell him its condition.
The governor insists on having the trailer back in time for the parade tomorrow.
The duo, with Buzz now sporting the Casper costume, go trick-or-treating even though Buzz is a Jehovah's Witness and Halloween is past. Butch tells him how it's done. They go to a woman's house way out in the country and she says that he is too late. He missed the popcorn balls and everything the other kids got yesterday.
And you missed them caramel popcorn balls I made up special.
However, when she sees Butch's gun, she changes her mind and gives them whatever she has, including the money in her purse. Then they leave and return to their car. They feast on the spoils. Mustard sandwiches Buzz made on the dashboard. Later, while Buzz sits in the car alone waiting for Butch to check out the roadblock, the car starts rolling. After much terror of hitting the car that was by the road, Buzz finally sorts out the brake from the accelerator and manages to stop it. Butch is relieved and approaches the man to see what he's up to and apologizes.
It scared me silly, I just had her a couple months.
Say, Bob, what with my brake pump and all, sure would appreciate a lift.
The guy, out with his family for a picnic, almost hit by the car, buys their story about bad brakes, and agrees to take them along in their car. Just as they discuss this, it happens again. And this time, the car is coming forward to the man's car, and it scares the hell out of him. Soon, they hop into the family's car and sit in the back seat with their children. After a few miles, they come across a checkpoint and Butch hugs Buzz to decrease suspicion. The boy also doesn't resist and somehow becomes father-friendly with Butch. This enables the pair on the lam to get through the checkpoint. Shortly, when the couple's kids spill drink on the seat, the mom curses, blesses, and slaps them for spilling a drink in the new car.
Get your bottom there and stay, both of you.
Butch's face clouds over and he decides to have Bob let them out of the car. Then he kicks the family out with their suitcases and steals the car, ditching them in the middle of nowhere. The next thing we see is the family approaching one of the roadblocks on foot while being spotted by the police that were at the checkpoint. Red and company are getting hungry. They find steaks and tater tots in the trailer, and Red starts cooking them up as if they were out camping. In the meantime, in the trailer, Bobby Lee tries to put the make on Sally, but she clearly isn't interested.
Well, you ain't smart, but goddamn, you are pretty.
Red suddenly barges in and cuts it short to ask Sally how she likes her steaks cooked. Nothing like a perfectly timed interruption to stop a federal agent from getting slapped with a #MeToo subplot. Thank you, Red, for saving my rewatch. Red then sets the would-be suitor Bobby Lee straight about the mission, saying he's here to do a job and nothing more. Meanwhile, Butch and Buzz talk over the limitations of the Jehovah's Witness religion. Butch introduces Buzz to the fun side of American life by allowing him to ride on the car roof. Later, they stop for dinner, and Butch and the waitress waste no time exchanging glances. She starts it, but he is intimidated by the way she is tempting him. He's interested.
If you need me, I'll be right over here.
Shortly, Butch and the woman have a casual chat at the bar, and Butch tells her that the boy's biological mother gave him up for adoption. He, being the good-hearted adopter, and his wife took him in. Later, the wife died, and here we are with Butch being a single dad. Fortunately, this makes her feel more empathetic towards him. Butch, making sure she's buying it, tells Buzz to go and play with rocks outside. Soon after his departure, they get to business. However, Buzz is also watching from a distance, full of curiosity. When Buzz is discovered, the couple's mood is dampened, and Butch and Buzz get back on the road not fully replenished. The moment is filled with tension after what the kids saw.
You kissed her, huh?
Still curious, Buzz asks why he was kissing her. Did he love her or anything? Butch answers that it's because it feels good.
Because it feels good.
Kissed her backside, huh?
I know how it must have looked.
After a moment of great embarrassment, Butch says he loves her. He must have done it out of love.
Yeah, Philip. Yeah, I love her.
They unintentionally start discussing women in love, and Butch can't believe he's having this conversation with a young boy, one he kidnapped. After a few miles, they call it a night and stop their drive. They hide in a cornfield to lay low, plan their journey, and get some sleep. Buzz tells Butch he wants to return home, and Butch promises he'll take him back soon. He reassures the boy of his care by asking him to make a list of all the things he wants to do, like eating cotton candy, and says he'll try to help him do some of them. Meanwhile, Sally asks Red whether he was a sheriff when Butch Haynes got his long sentence for stealing a car. Red says Butch's dad was a crook. Bad news. And Red thought it would be better to send Butch away to an institution. Regret is visible in his eyes.
In Texas, the bottom line is who you know and what they owe you.
Meanwhile, a sharecropper Mac finds Butch and Buzz hiding in the corn and offers them a place to sleep. Butch agrees, however, the next day during breakfast, the duo notices Mac hitting his grandson Cleve for no clear reason.
Hey, you can't hear me or something?
He doesn't even feel bad doing it in front of guests and keeps eating as if nothing happened. The duo feels awkward and disturbed. They already know something's off and Butch doesn't approve of it. Later, Butch shows Cleve a gymnastic trick called skinning the cat and they practice a little. He also chats with a woman and tells her about growing up in a prostitute house watching his mama dance. Then he plays some old 45s and invites Mac's wife, Lottie, and the boys to dance with him. They enjoy a heartwarming moment full of smiles.
I was raised in a dime-a-dance whorehouse.
You're fooling me.
Soon, however, Mac hears about the manhunt on the radio and the mood changes quickly. Butch threatens to keep him quiet. After that, Butch gathers his thoughts and decides to punish this cruel man.
Do me again.
Oh, you get back over here with your grandmama now.
Come on, mister.
He snaps and knocks Mac to the ground. He pulls his gun and asks why he traumatizes the kid and what exactly he did to make him this mad. Mac, scared, shuts his mouth. Soon enough, the farmer's family gets tied up with their mouths taped shut, and Butch is ready to kill Mac for hitting his grandson.
I'll give you everything we got.
I will be my name. I will be done.
Trust becomes the topic of conversation, and it's clear that Buzz doesn't trust Butch as much as before because of his short temper. The family starts to pray, asking God to save them from this man, but Butch still believes he's doing Cleve and the woman a favor by killing this cruel man. Soon, when Butch turns to grab his gun, it's gone, and now it's in the hands of Buzz. Buzz shoots Butch in the gut, crying the entire time. Then he runs outside, throws the gun into the well, tosses the car keys on the ground, and escapes around the village. Meanwhile, back inside, Butch, bleeding heavily, shows mercy and leaves his pocket knife on the table, so Mac and his family can free themselves after he leaves to search for Buzz. As for Philip, he crawls under a fence and runs through a field, leaving a bit of his torn costume behind. Butch follows, telling him he's a hero and agreeing to let him drive if he continues being his running buddy.
Probably be in all the papers tomorrow. How you save those folks? Only killed 2 people my whole life.
Philip climbs up a tree, knowing Butch can't get him there, and waits nervously for what comes next. He looks afraid and anxious after seeing Butch act so violently. It's clear they've reached the end of the line.
Alaska, Philip. Wild and woolly. Men against nature.
Butch is slowly dying from his wound, but he still hopes to talk to Buzz. He asks Philip to come with him to Alaska and reads aloud the message from his dad on the back of the postcard. Saddened, Philip climbs down from the tree and hugs Butch to apologize for shooting him. Butch says he's glad it was Philip who shot him, not some stranger. If that doesn't haunt you, congratulations. You're probably not crying in public like I did while watching it. Soon, Butch and Philip are surrounded by cops. Shotguns are everywhere. And Bobby Lee, the FBI agent, gets out a high-powered rifle with a scope and prepares to shoot. Red talks to Butch through a megaphone. Negotiations begin and end with a threat to kill the boy, even though the pistola is in the well. Gladys, Philip's mom, arrives in a helicopter and pleads for her son's life. Philip trick-or-treats the group of cops, and Butch starts negotiating for Philip's future fun, not his own life. When Philip tries to say his mom lets him do a lot of great stuff, Butch is skeptical.
So ladies gotta swear to take him trick-or-treating every year.
Unconvinced, Butch makes her promise to let the boy go to fairs and trick-or-treat. Philip vouches for her, saying she's a real good mama. Butch then tells him to walk toward the cops and shout, "Trick-or-treat." The running buddies shake hands goodbye. Philip, still dressed as Casper the Friendly Ghost, starts heading to his mom, but turns back halfway and returns to Butch. I saw this movie on videotape, and this is the moment I remember most. I was a little kid, but it touched my heart even then.
Personally, I think we negotiated a pretty fair deal.
Philip is scared they'll shoot Butch. They hug and slowly begin walking toward the police, hand in hand. Meanwhile, Red walks out to meet them, but tells Bobby Lee to keep Butch locked down, clean as a whistle. Red drops his gun and tells Butch to drop his too since he's approaching. Butch says the pistol is gone, thanks to his partner. Butch tries handing the postcard to Philip, but Bobby Lee, watching through his scope, thinks Butch is reaching for a weapon and shoots him, delivering a fatal wound. Buzz breaks down in tears over Butch, choosing to stay by his side rather than run to his mother, who anxiously approaches to reclaim her son. The rest of the officers quickly move in to secure the boy, while Red watches the scene unfold with a grim expression. Using the last of his strength, Butch hands Buzz the list, urging him to continue following its path. After that, he passes away, leaving Buzz heartbroken as he's taken away by his mother, even though he deeply wishes to remain with Butch. Once the chaos settles, Red angrily strikes Bobby Lee for firing his gun without cause. Sally follows up by hitting Bobby Lee in the groin, adding her own frustration to the punishment, as he'd been troublesome until the very end. I didn't know Sally had it in her, but sometimes justice comes with a side of karma and a steel-toed boot. In the closing scene, Butch is seen once more standing in the field, mirroring the film's opening. This time it's evident he's now just a spirit. And with that, the movie comes to a close.